Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News. Let me switch this a little bit. We got a strike, and they are searching through my videos, and I get this feeling, folks, that they are trying to take away this channel, and I haven't really talked to William over it, but they went back 4, 5. William, it was a show me and William and my brother did, and they're not really telling me what we said was wrong, because they say click on the video, and I click on it and it's black, and they're not telling me what was said. And they're searching my videos. So, folks, we more than likely will end up on um, Investigator News Network. I think they're trying to take Investigator News 2. Um, so we'll be on the network for a month and a half. Now, the thing with this, William, I have dealt with YouTube for a very long time. And second strike is only 2 weeks. They hit us up with a month and a half. So what's that tell you, William? They're watching uh, Truth and News, Investigator Truth and News, and I think they don't like the truth that we're presenting. So I don't know, William. What do you think?
Um, I'm not very good at typing.
Yeah, I do the and well, I do the and yeah. I'm with you
I,
there.
I think I'll just. I think I'm just gonna say the questions here.
So William is going to be doing trivia tonight. I have a lot of really good news. So I'm going to do news, a couple of them, and then I'm going to let William have at it at trivia. It's going to be different. Next week we'll be back to normal. I only had him do this due to um, I just didn't have enough time. I got in late last night. Had a wonderful visit with my sister, and prayers for her. And because her dog is really old. Uh, William, I gotta say that it is so hard when we have these pets, whether it's a dog or cat, we think of them as our kids, and they make us happy. And then
Well, we spend more time with them.
yeah, and then when it comes time that they're having health issues, brain tumors, um, a lot of things going on when they're 13, 15, 18, 20. Um, it's so hard to lose them. Well, William, I so wish we had cats and dogs that lived till they were 30, 40, 50, 60 years old like us. But we don't
Well,
get
it's
that.
the only thing they do wrong you know, is they don't outlive us.
Now, I don't mean to be upset my family, but my sister's dog last for about the last week, and when I left, was attacking her, and she was becoming very fearful um, of her own dog. And we think something's wrong with it, and they we're going to take it to the vet. But what do you do, William, when your dog attacks you?
Take them
At
to the vet and see if they need if
16,
they've got
18
something.
years old, you know?
Well, take the vet. It might be just a need for medication or something.
Yeah,
They
and
may be
then
trying to tell you something.
oh boy, it's just, it was heartbreaking to watch her dog that she has had for many years, that's been there for her, attack her. This dog was, um, one morning she came out and she had been bit in around the face area. And then she became very fearful. Um, I don't want to put a whole bunch into this, but it's something that we have to look into with our pets because uh, I'm training my puppy to be a service dog, and I know you've got one. But what do we do when they're 15? Now, we were told by a family member that took care of her, this dog was 15 years old 3 years ago. We heard 14. So, William, this dog is 17, 18, 19, could be 20 years old. Is it?
The best thing you can do when your dog gets old like that is get a new dog so they know that they can finally rest.
And the other thing is the whole.
They don't want you left alone.
Right. And the whole thing is a dementia. And oh, I'm so happy. I don't know if my brother and sister is watching this tonight, but I'm so happy to bring my sister home with me. And me and my sister were very close. And to bring her here to Arkansas, but I might not be able to bring her dog. And so I'm going to replace her dog with my dog. And will she reject it? Dementia is so hard, William. I mean, I don't know if you had to deal with it, but Karen has.
Can only serve one master.
Yeah, and well, my dog is so family oriented that she has adopted my daughter, her fiance, my grandkids, and me, and we can take my dog over there, and she feels at home. They have recently moved, so what they were living to where they are now, she has a fenced-in backyard. So my dog is just like happy, happy. And but we got boy, it's so hard, William. I don't want to say don't want to dwell on my dog, but dementia because that is big news. Karen has dealt with dementia. I've uh, I've seen Randy a little bit myself, and I have had many viewers got a hold of me on YouTube and with messaging as well as my email saying, "Could you address dementia?" Well, I don't want to put my sister under a microscope when she gets here, but it might be a learning experience for all of us. You know what I mean, William? You don't have dementia in your life right now, right?
Well, I suffer from it a little bit, but
Well, but I mean, you don't have a family member that's part of this. Now, I have seen this.
I'm not connected to any family members. I'm
And
alone.
Karen, oh my goodness, Karen would be a good one to have on the show for dementia because her dad, she went through this and it was hard. Now, I know other with different groups I've been in on that they have said, "What do we do? What do we do?" Um, but they're not willing to come on. I think this is going to be, William, I totally think that everything happens for a reason. And I'm not saying I'm going to use my sister as uh, a test case or a news case, because I don't want to go there. But I think that with her having light dementia, that maybe we can all learn from this as I go through moving her in with me. Um, my brother is moving to um, Reno, and we're going to keep her. Um, we're going to keep her here with me. So as I grow and learn from this Alzheimer dementia, I think we can all learn from this. But
Well,
what?
it's good that we talk about it. Mental illness is the one thing people never want to discuss.
Yeah. Um. Um. Uh. Susan's concerns.
Everybody
What?
gets mentally incapacitated at one time or another.
Well, I didn't want to really get into this a lot. When I was out there, this dog is now. I heard from one family member is 14, which was 2 years ago, which means the dog is 16, 17. I heard from another family member that had the dog out there in California that said 15. So we're looking at 17, 18 years old. Um, Now, what I experienced was this dog was a beloved dog of my sister. It's a little tiny chihuahua, about that tall, about that long, and miniature, okay, or mini, that was attacking her. And the morning that I was fixing to leave, she had a bite, some type of issue on her eye. And I said, how'd that happen? Now, with a sister with dementia, she don't want to lose her dog. And she said, I don't know. Maybe I scratched myself. I know what happened, William, and she knows. But, you have to look at those with dementia with having pets that when they are that far along, is it brain tumor? Is it senility?
I
Um,
I had a dog one time uh, bite my daughter, and because I was afraid for a neighborhood child or something like that, I had to put it down. I felt terrible about it, but to protect neighbors, I did that, even though it really broke my heart.
yeah, and this dog, I think, is if this is a dog that has loved her for many, many, many years. That's now attacking her. It wasn't just, and she's fearful now of the dog. When the last few days I was there, she was very fearful. And when you're afraid of your own dog, then what? And I had to talk to my brother and his wife, and I really, and the whole thing is one of the nights that I became very concerned. It was attacking her. It was attacking other animals around uh, the house. It went after me. It went after my granddaughter. It was going, like I said, it was attacking my sister, and she was
I
fearful.
would be afraid that maybe it got bit by something with rabies. That doesn't sound normal.
Now they do have raccoons that, uh, and so I looked in because of of what I was hearing in the woods beyond. The frogs are one thing, and the bullfrogs are, and I thought it was a mechanical thing. Found out with bullfrogs, but the dog, I asked her, "Is it ever yipe yipe yipe?" Uh, and she said, "No, no, no, no." So now, William, if we're looking at a dog at 18 to 20 years old, I was looking at, well, maybe the dog is one a little senile, and then at the same
Mm.
time, uh, what could possibly be wrong that the dog would attack its owners? Boy,
The
you
first
know.
thing you should do is take it to your veterinarian,
Yeah, and
and
that's what
if
I
the
told them.
veterinarian doesn't have
And so
an answer,
she has been
you
calling
have
and
to be an
calling and
adult
calling and
and make
calling
the
me.
decision.
So I'm thinking now when I talked to my brother and sister-in-law about this, they said this isn't like this dog. This isn't normal. This is something they were thinking a brain tumor and not or senility. Now, if the vet decides to put the dog to sleep, now my sister has been, she hit me up with probably about 10 phone calls in this last hour. And folks, you got to realize when it's an hour before the show, I cannot answer the phone. I got too much going on. Um, but I kind of get the feeling either she's needs to talk to me or they found out really bad news on the dog. And I think of I had a little Scotty, and we were told when he was 2, 3 years old he had heart issues, and he would live 13, 14 years old. Well, 13, 14, of course, we had issues. And It, you know, uh, when do you decide that you have to put your beloved animal to sleep? And it's hard. It's really hard, William. It is because we had an attachment to where, oh, we can't do without him, but then you watch him suffer. And I think that's what's going on with my sister because she denies the dog is attacking her. But is that
Yeah.
dementia or is that her
At the end
protecting
of
the
life,
dog?
you have to let logic trump emotions. That's the hard part.
Yeah. I'm trying to get some um, Susan's saying a lot. Um, well, Susan, with the thing at 18, is only going to get worse. Is he 16, 17, or 18? And if he has got a little bit of senility, he's only going to get worse. So who is he going to attack? And my sister will not let go of this dog. And, so as we go on through the months, my sister will be living with me in August, and maybe I can learn and share how because I'm old. I keep telling everyone I'm old, and so now I'm the youngest of six, and if this can help you guys get through dementia or Alzheimer's with loved ones or family members, we're going to do this. um, so I want to move on. William, boy, I tell you, um, the big thing today on the news, what I've seen little bits of, is we now have Mexico with missile launchers that they bought from Ukraine, and you go, oh man, what is, and this comes from Mexico News, also from our news here with Reuters. It comes from uh, Russia. It's coming from NBC News. It's coming from uh, Mexico News that we now.
So they had a cartel member packing a Javelin missile. They're like $123 million a pop. We sent a bunch, to Ukraine. So
Yeah. Well, see, the thing, William, we've been asking for the data of where is this stuff going, and they won't release it to us. And now
we're doing two things. We're sending out arms, and we're not charging for them. If they had to pay for them, they wouldn't be selling them.
Yeah.
So sometimes lend lease is a better idea than just straight out armament to another nation. So it is what it is.
Yeah, Wednesday. I think is going to be a really big show because the cartels are saying cartels are even showing they've got these missile launchers, and they're saying they bought them from black market and the dark web with Ukraine, and
Well,
of
that's an
course,
excellent way to end up dead.
huh?
It's an excellent way to end up dead. You make yourself a target.
Yeah.
Whenever you have military power, it makes you a center of gravity for military operations. So if there is a military operation, you can pretty much kiss yourself goodbye.
Yeah. Well, William, oh boy, I wish this was a World War III report trivia night because we are looking at um, countries that are getting hold of nuclear weapons or missile launchers that shouldn't have them. I mean, I have been looking at it in, Africa and Libya and Iran, and they'll sell them to anybody. And if,
So missile launchers can be had by almost anybody because they can be manufactured by almost anybody. It's the missiles that are the real big deal because most people don't have the wherewithal to make the guidance systems or the propulsion systems. So launchers are easy, missiles are hard.
yeah, well, there's Raytheon and there's the other one. I can't remember what the other one is. Um, oh, I don't want to guess. And they were saying that they are getting orders from third world countries saying they want these missiles and these missile launchers. And uh, we're looking at, it isn't just Iran. Then it's Libya, it's South Africa, it's North Korea. And who is North
See, this
Korea's?
is the problem with the Ukraine war is everybody's learning from it.
Yeah.
Once they learn from it, then they know what they want, what they need.
Yeah.
Every war creates a scenario where every other nation on earth studies it. That's the problem with war. That's why you don't want it to start in the first place. It's just a byproduct, a bad byproduct of aggression.
Yeah. And if every country's got nuclear ability, let's say Libya, who are they going to shoot it at? Is it going to be the country next to them, or is it going to be, we just don't know. I mean, they can't go far, but if they want to take a country next to them, they could do it if the country next to them is just um, the everyday person that's trying to struggle to live.
The major problem with nuclear weapons is terrorism. You don't know where they'll end up.
Yeah, and now
they can travel farther. They can do more extensive damage to what they perceive their enemy to be. They can decide on the timetable. They can use the act of surprise, and nobody may even know where it came from. So that's the real big threat. As far as just having a weapon you can aim and fire at your neighbor, it has a limited potential. But when you have one, just the warhead itself is the most dangerous part.
Yeah. So let's say North Korea will sell it to Libya. See, that's the whole thing. And not only that, but now North Korea is part of the World Health Organization and is starting to get seats in major world powers. And that was, pretty much one of the stories that, North Korea is elected to serve on the World Health Organization board. And so if they can do that, who can they sell these weapons to?
Well,
I'm glad you're on tonight, William, because this is real concerning,
They can transfer to anybody within their alliance. We don't know where they're going to put them.
Yeah. And now they're seeing that we're sending. Now, this is one thing that got me. Not the F-16s, but I'm thinking it's the F-35s. Am I right on that? F-35s? Is that
the F-35 is the replacement for the F-16.
And when they're crashing in Russia gets them and they find out our technology.
Right. If that was to happen, that would be the case.
Yeah.
We would do the same thing. When we shot down the balloon, we took it all apart and checked out the technology.
Yeah. So Russia's like, come on, I'm gonna shoot you down, and they'll figure out what the U.S. is doing. But now, William, the one thing is
F-35 to Ukraine. We only use them defensively.
But okay, so if we send them anything, let's say Raytheon or one of these other ones, they could find out what we have, but I, so now I'm kind of looking into what does these people that are building these planes and high tech military equipment. I know they're not going to share it with people, but if
So
they shoot them down, they're going to find out, right?
so all war is a transfer of technology.
Right. Yeah. And see,
All war is a transfer of technology the hard way, but it is nonetheless. It's just like learning tactics and military reasoning. All of that gets thrown away anytime you get involved into a military expedition.
yeah. And see, this is how I look at it, though, as if Mexico sells our stuff, our missiles. Let's say they got it from Ukraine. They sold it to Mexico cartel. Cartel sells it to whoever they want to sell it to. They have our information and our intel?
So if Mexico has it, you can be sure all the major powers have access to it as well.
Yeah.
First of all, second
Did
of
you
all,
see
it
that
takes a
info?
major power to take one of those things apart and be able to replicate it. So Mexico's not going to do it, but China or Russia could.
And if Mexico's has got them, it's real close to the border, so they can actually, and it's in the hands of the cartel and ISIS in Mexico. So what are they going to do with it?
Remember, when we transfer equipment, we transfer old equipment. We don't transfer new equipment, so they won't have the most updated version.
But if
we'll
they
save
still
that
had a
to the
missile,
side.
and I think it's 100 miles south of the border, they could shoot it to Florida, Texas, California.
Well, one of the shoulder-fired missiles only have a range of about 16 to 20 miles best.
Yeah.
So they're close in. Think of it as a high explosive artillery. It's just a guided artillery round that you can see, or you know where something is within just a few miles. Anything shoulder fired doesn't have any extended range. They're just there for people on the ground to protect themselves, either against aircraft or armor.
Yeah, I probably gave you all kinds of ideas for Tuesday and Wednesday, huh? Because I got this from Reuters, but it wasn't just from Reuters. NBC had it, Redacted had it, quite a few had it. That Zelensky, and he knew about it. This is what gets me.
Well,
if he knew about it, why didn't he stop it?
It terrifies the populace, but in fact, for our military, it's not a big deal. Because we already know how to work around our own weapons and how to defeat them. So, although the populace is going to be terrified of somebody carrying one of those things, the fact of the matter is, as far as our military goes, it's just another thing that we have to plan for, and we'll neutralize the first opportunity we get. It's not that big a deal.
Now, the whole thing. Now, the next thing that kind of concerned me was now Mexico has taken control of gangs in California, Texas, all of it, like Chicago, New York, and now they are sending these missiles to them also, and that's the big concern. Is that it isn't just the Mexican cartel. Now we're starting to see gangs in the United States have these missiles. These are Javelin missiles.
Missile, you can guarantee you become a sniper target.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. So what city? Let's say that Chicago decides You know what? Um, I'm just going to say Arkansas. Um, we don't like what's going on with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and
If
from yeah,
if you're spotted with one of those in the United States, I guarantee you're not going to be around for long, because the first
no,
thing that's going to show up, there's going to be a SWAT team that's quietly out of sight, and if you even flinch when they come in, you're gone.
oh, you're going down. They're going down. And William, the big thing is they had just arrested um, three. I believe it's out of Atlanta. They've done two in Chicago, and I believe five up around you of Antifa that they've now hit for terrorist issues. This is really big because they have never done this before. So now,
Sure, most of those are mentally ill as well.
yeah, well,
Most of these
these
people
guys here,
involved in
they're
terrorism
saying
are
they're
mentally ill.
from um, rich and well-to-do families, but they have ties to certain foundations that will pay them to do this. Well, now they have listed, I think they said nine as terrorists that were part of Antifa, which to me, I get excited because now we're starting to look at Antifa as a terrorist group. And what if they get a hold of these missiles? They're all Javelin missiles, and
It's a,
um,
it's just an excellent way to become extinct.
yeah. Now, and everybody says, "Is this really true?" It's in Spanish, but there is a Mexico City news media that has put it out that this has happened. That these Javelin
Sure, it was
missiles,
photographed, Ellie. It
huh?
was photographed, so we know it's a fact. It's not,
Right. We're not
a
making
false
it up
flag or
here.
something like that. It's just what happens when there's a major conflict someplace in the world. Weapons spill out.
Yeah.
We know that 30% of everything that goes into a war is not going to end up in that war.
Yeah.
It's going to spill out to its neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to spill out to arms dealers. It's going to spill out to death merchants.
Yeah. And I mean, as we are looking at the open borders and everything that's going to come through, I don't think the cartel is going to push them into the United States to gangs as much as they're going to do a border war. I don't know. Uh, I don't know
This
what
is
you think,
the number
William.
one problem with proxy wars is the spill out of weapons.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a military force that are directly engaged, like we did in Desert Storm, there's no transfer of weapons, except for death. But when you have anytime you have a proxy war where you're arming another population, you can expect at least a third of those weapons to disappear and vaporize into the world.
Yeah. And not only that, but there was even some weapons that were offered to North Korea, and he scoffed at them. That's the one that got me is uh, um, Kim Jong Un and his sister, but he's pretty much on what comes in. And when they,
Why would you admit to it?
well, he said he was offered black market Ukrainian military equipment, and he said, "Ha,
Sure.
how that is something we had 20 years ago."
You always shop military equipment to the highest bidder and who has the most money.
Yeah.
Major powers. So you know where a lot of that's going to go. The major powers are then going to disassemble some of them. The rest of them they're going to send to their allies.
Yeah. So it really means that we have went into a whole new realm of nuclear power, and we really should do this on World War III on Wednesday. But how many countries now have these Javelin missiles that we
They're
really
not
didn't know
nuclear.
about.
Those are just tactical weapons. They're just explosive rounds. But nuclear weapons are really a different deal. Most countries don't want to transfer those because they could be used on them. They're a get out of jail free card, and if your neighbor doesn't have it, they can't use it against you.
Right. That's what I was talking about. They got, let's say, Libya decides, well, we want Kenya or South Africa. Now we have these missiles, and we can fight them. And this is something they don't have. This goes into a whole new realm of war with neighbor. I'm not going to say neighbor versus neighbor, but country versus country on who's stronger or
The
state.
instant we dropped the weapon in Hiroshima, the world changed forever. And this is a history we will deal with as a civilization until there is no civilization.
Yeah, and I didn't want to spend 40 minutes on it, but I did, William, because this is really, people need to know that now and because Iran and Israel, and we're seeing that Iran against Israel, Libya against Saudi, Afghanistan against Pakistan, Ukraine against Russia, and the latest news I got was a big Cuba has got them. Now Africa is one thing, but Cuba.
Cuba doesn't have nuclear, I don't believe.
No, they don't have. I'm talking these Javelin missiles.
Oh, sure, they have them. They have the
so
Russian equivalent,
we have
if not
these missiles. Now, so let me let my viewers know we're talking Javelin missiles that can be sold to anybody. But William, think about Cuba. They decide, well, you know what? We could take Panama because Panama don't have missiles, and we've got a bigger army than they do.
You have to think about it this way, Ellie. A Javelin missile today is what an M16 or a Kalashnikov was in the 70s.
Right.
This is just part of warfare.
But
it's a little more dangerous for somebody that's got a tank or has barricaded themselves in a concrete steel reinforced building. You can be got at now, but it doesn't really change how war is prosecuted. It's just another aspect of mechanized warfare.
Right. Well, see, I'm thinking it is, we looked at Ukraine and Russia, the mercenaries, it was one community against the next. It was civil war type thing. But if we have, let's say, Cuba and Haiti or Panama, one has these missiles and a bigger army, they're thinking, hey, we could take over.
Well, if you have those missiles and there's a quick strike, your enemy's going to go for your own missiles.
Yeah.
So they want them just as bad as you have them. So are you doing yourself a favor?
Yeah. So this is something, I have Monday. More than likely I'll do news on William's spot, and William will have his own show. We're going to put on Tuesday, but William, I think this is something both of us need to look into, because this puts World War on a whole new meaning on who could, because my friend in Kenya said, if Libya and others in these terrorist groups, military groups have them, they could take over, and where he's at could just totally take over the community he's at, because nobody has guns, nobody has tanks, and they could just take over. And they could take over half of Africa, he said, because they got something that would scare the public?
Well, so
Boy, it's a hard one, huh,
they
William?
take over small populations, but to be able to take over large populations, that's a different thing. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why you should never have a disarmed population. Because if you have an armed population, regardless of what somebody's carrying, they can still be targeted and
Yeah.
neutralized.
Yeah.
If you're a country and you disarm your people, you're asking to be overrun.
Yeah. Well,
That's the
see,
fact. And
his
most
fear
countries
was, you know, they always have these groups that have always wanted to take over certain parts where he's at, and I can't really say where it's at. Um, where he's at in Kenya, they can easily come in and take over a whole town, and they won't even have to have the missile. And he said, what happens if they have missiles and they could take his town and 4 or 5 just due to um, Libya having
just overwhelming threat, sure.
yeah, yeah, and they could take over town after town, city after city, country after country. I mean, they could go from um, um, where he's at all the way to Somalia and South Africa and take over. What about even the cobalt mines?
Well,
So
the United States has AFRICOM. That probably is not going to happen. But once you have a war like you're having in Ukraine, it has global consequences. And sometimes the people who are prosecuting the wars have no idea what blowback is going to be like around the world. Now, those of us in the military, we understand this because we have to deal with it on a one-on-one situation.
mm-hmm.
But lawyers and bankers and sociologists and psychologists, none of that matters in a war.
No.
It's absolutely meaningless when it comes down to kill or be killed.
Yeah.
And most people just don't grasp the gravity of any military expedition, whether it's a proxy war, whether it's a direct war, whether it's even a cross-border squabble. You get tied up with the right people, you'll have global consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime a superpower moves, another superpower has to move in an equal and opposite way. It's like a law of physics. It can't be denied. It's an imperative that has no way out.
Yeah. So I mean, hopefully this gives you some ideas for Tuesday, and Wednesday, because this is something we really need to look at, is the whole new realm of not only nuclear, but these like Ukraine selling, getting the money, the funding, the equipment, and then selling the equipment to third world countries for money. Why would Zelensky need money? Or is it the dark web or these rogue military members that are selling
Corrupt
this?
People gravitate towards war.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's magnetic to corrupt people because it's an easy way to make money, and they will do what they can do to make a buck in any situation. But as soon as you start a war in a certain area, you induce chaos into that society. The second you induce that chaos and fear in the society, people that will typically react in a civil behavior will turn into animals.
Well, I guess I'll just say this. Welcome to the show, sweet Campbell Judy. If you have a question or a comment, we feel free to throw it in there. But tonight is trivia night. And William, I kind of want to move on to that. We got about 15, 20 minutes for trivia. And
we're ready for the first question.
There you go. Let's rah. Yeah, we'll get into the first question. But Sweet Campbell Judy, I want to, if it's okay, I'm gonna throw your name up there, and welcome to the show. And we don't do the whole super chat. If you have a question or comment, as long as it's not real bad, I'll throw you up there. But we don't ask for no money. We are here to give you the truth and the facts. All right, William. So first trivia question.
So, what is the designation of the next U.S. Air Force air refueling tanker? Here's the three options: the KC-135, the C-5A, or the KC-46.
Maybe I should have done trivia because I'm bad at trivia. Now, what was the question again?
The key is, what is the designation of the next U.S. Air Force refueling tanker? So you can pretty much eliminate two of them pretty easy.
Yeah. So if you know it, throw it down in the comments. If you're over on Facebook, please throw it in there. William, I think you're on YouTube. So if I get a answer for Facebook, throw it down in the comments below. And of course, subscribe and like, hit the like button, hit the hearts. Yeah, we're all for that. Now I'll get you guys' funny post. I'll work on that the next few days. I was at my sister's house. So William, read that question again with the answers.
What is the designation of the next U.S. Air Force air refueling tanker? The KC-135, the C-5A, or the KC-46?
Now, what I know about the refuelers, now I only know from SR-71s. In fact, I wish I could find the pictures. I've looked and looked and looked. And I have a picture of the KC-135 refueler, kind of refueling the SR-71. I believe that's what it was.
He's the next one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If it's the old one. So now you're down to two.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oops. I shouldn't have. Why did you go?
And we know that C stands for cargo and K stands for refueling.
I'm typing to Miss Sweet Campbell Judy. That's the new one. So hello, and I'm gonna throw it up there. So if she's wants to show her friends or family that she was on the show tonight, she can. So there we go. And I'm in the South, so everything is always Ms. So all right. I don't see any answers, William. So what is the answer?
The answer is the KC-46. It's part of what's called the Next Generation Aerial Refueling System. You know, the military always has an acronym for something. It's called NGAS or NGAS. And the name of the airplane is the KC-46A Pegasus. And we're currently ordering 12 more of a total of 79 tankers we have right now. And we intend to order up to 128 at the final end. And it's based on the Boeing 767 passenger liner and cargo aircraft. So there's the answer.
Yeah. All right. So what's the next one? I didn't see anybody with it. So Karen, where's Karen and Susan and Linda from Illinois and Linda G? Where are they at tonight? All right. William, go to the next one.
Where was the highest recorded wind speed recorded that is in the continental United States. Not a cyclone, not a tornado, but where was the highest direct wind speed recorded in the continental United States? Was it Pikes Peak, Colorado, Mount Washington, New Hampshire, or Mount Baker, Washington?
I would have said Katrina stuff, but you said not I'm bad at this. I'm going to say Colorado, because it's a lot of mountains and peaks and
Pikes Peak is the highest
I got
peak
to see
in Colorado.
that. I got to see a friend of mine, her house looked at Pikes Peak, and I was like, wow. So
Pikes Peak's the highest peak in the Rocky Mountain chain in the continental United States.
So what was the answers again? Or the not the answer,
So
but
you had
what
Pikes
is it?
Peak, Colorado, Mount Washington, New Hampshire, or Colorado, Mount Washington, New Hampshire, or Mount Baker, Washington.
All right. Now, the other thing is, we had, and do a little bit of news in between while they're trying to come up with the answer, is the Satanic Pride creator is now furious at Target because they decide to take 50% off or even more. And he is furious at them, saying that he is pride, he is satanic, and that they have a right to be heard. William, the whole thing, when I look at that, is when we had the Luciferians bring in the Molech statue, and we had 10 Commandments, and that's where they wanted to make it equal. So we have them just throwing this merchandise out. And I mentioned, if folks, if you wanted to know how to complain, I had on my last show in Nashville. But at this point, we are looking at, he is pushing this, and he's very mad that they took a half of the product. It's not he's losing money. He's just mad at the whole concept of they're going to take 50% of the merchandise down. So he's not making no money. Did you want to add anything on that?
So everybody has in the United States freedom of speech, but nobody has rights over somebody else more than the other. However, the market does drive commerce. And if more people are against that commerce and you lose too much money, you may want to reduce your sales of something. So he's stuck in the machine of freedom, and it is what it is. Everybody is equal in the United States in the freedom of speech and the freedom of expression, as long as it's not lewd. Okay, there's certain things we won't allow in general public, but beyond that, or threatening, but beyond that, it is what it is. Sorry.
Yeah. So
I mean, I would feel bad if somebody did that to whatever I thought was important, so I can understand that. But that is how markets work. You make money on the entire population, not on a single population.
Yeah, so for the answer, I said Colorado, and Susan said New Hampshire. So
it is New Hampshire.
Oh my gosh!
The highest, the Ohio Valley funnels all the air from the Ohio Valley all the way down into West Virginia and the Great Lakes, and funnels it right towards Mount Washington, New Hampshire. And in 1934, they had a continuous airspeed of 231 miles per hour on Mount Washington.
All right. So Susan gets the point. Now go ahead and go on to the next, and I'll throw some more news in there. She said she took a guess. So go ahead.
So what is the highest mountain in the continental United States? Is it Mount Rainier, Washington, Mount Whitney, California, or Mount Elbert, Colorado?
Hmm. All right, Susan. I'm gonna say Colorado, but there we go with Colorado again. You think I'd have something for Colorado, but no. I'm I'm really a lot for California because they got some highest of the mountain peaks that I've ever seen. But when I have looked at Colorado and Denver, boy, I tell you what, I went to Denver from Colorado Springs, William, and
The difference in the heights of these mountains is only like 70 feet.
ah,
So it's a toss-up. So choose whatever you think's your favorite.
yeah. Well, William, when I was in Colorado Springs with my friend, she said we're going to go to the high part of Denver, and I tell you what, my eyeballs felt pressure going to Denver from Colorado Springs. It was
Well,
weird. You could feel
the
the
highest
pressure.
road in the United States is Pikes Peak, and wow, it's 14,000 feet. You feel it.
And then Susan said Mount Albert, Colorado, is what she said. And I want to throw in there that with the news that Comer wins, FBI relents. And they agreed to deliver subpoenaed memos from the laptop and other documents with Biden, Hunter Biden, and James Biden. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and turn it over, but there's still more. That's just a little bit of the information that's come off the laptops. So, William, what's the answer to that one for that last trivia?
So turns out the Sierra Nevada mountains in California at Mount Whitney is the very highest, 14,505 feet.
Susan, boy, we lost on that one.
Sierra Nevadas is the highest, and the next highest is Colorado, and then the next highest after that is Mount Rainier in the Cascades. So Sierra Nevadas, the Rockies, then the Cascades.
All right. We missed that one, girl. Yeah, all right. So what's the next one?
Where is the southernmost tip of Florida? Is it St. Augustine, Miami, or Key West?
I'm going to say Key West with that one because of the little island thing that comes down. But yeah. What do you think, Susan? Me and you. I think it's me and you tonight. I think everybody's enjoying this awesome spring. Not only that, but Memorial Weekend is upon us. So anyway, guys, she says Key West. William, what is it? It's me and her plan.
It is Key West.
Well, Susan, I might have to cheat and pinch William's dog to see if the dog will give me the answers. All right, so what's the next one? So Susan got that one.
The intercoastal waterway of the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico portion is 3,000 miles long. Where does the intercoastal waterway end? Is it New Orleans, Brownsville, Texas, or Muscle Shoals, Alabama?
I'm going to say Alabama. We'll see what Susan says. William, I don't know. Nobody should copy me because I'm bad at trivia. So many times, some friends of mine, we go out on trivia night at this certain restaurant, and they're like, yeah, let's play. And I'm like, no, you don't want me to answer. So I'm going to say Alabama.
The intercoastal waterway starts in Annisquam River in Massachusetts, goes all the way down the East Coast, around the tip of Florida, back up Florida, and across the Gulf of Mexico on the United States side. And it's 3,000 miles long from the start in Massachusetts. Where does it end? And the answer is Brownsville, Texas.
Oh boy, I tell. Susan, what was yours? You said Key West for the last one. What was your answer for this one? I said Alabama myself because that seemed the farthest over. But I got that one wrong. So
No, it passes Mississippi River and goes all the way to Brownsville, Texas.
So she did ask to
so-
repeat the question, but we'll go ahead. Susan, we're gonna have to go on because I'm only gonna probably go about 10-15 minutes more, and then heck, I might have me and William do trivia next week. Him ask the rest, and me do a few. All right, William. So what's the next one?
What type of electric guitar did Jimi Hendrix use at Woodstock, New York concert in 1969? Was it a Gibson Les Paul, a Gretsch 6128, or a Fender Stratocaster? Now, the Les Paul was created in 1953. The Gretsch Duojet was created in 1953, and the Fender Stratocaster was created in 1954.
Didn't you say Gibson?
Which one was it? A Gibson, a Gretsch, or a Fender Stratocaster?
Me and Susan agree it's a Gibson Les Paul.
It was up. He played it upside down,
Mm-hmm.
and it had a. He played it upside down. So, what do we want to go to the answer now?
Yeah, because me and her picked the Gibson.
Remember, it's the one he played the Star Spangled Banner on.
Right.
So it was Fender Stratocaster.
Mm-hmm. We got it. Susan, we got it wrong. I had a friend that I met that worked at the medical tent. She's a nurse at Woodstock. And she said, boy, you would not believe how chaotic Woodstock was. And she said, we're going to have
another question about Woodstock here and down the line.
Okay, so what is the next one?
What territory did Putin incorporate into the Russian Federation in 2014? Was it the country of Georgia, Moldova, or Crimea?
14. I'm gonna go with Georgia. Did you hear that question? William, repeat it so Susan gets it.
It was the first thing in Ukraine that Putin took over.
Yeah. So repeat the question again for Susan.
What territory did Putin incorporate into the Russian Federation in 2014? The country of Georgia, Moldova, or Crimea? Now remember, he built a bridge to this thing too.
Mm-hmm.
A special bridge.
Susan says Moldova, and I say Georgia.
Okay, so we're ready?
Mm-hmm.
It was the Crimea Peninsula.
Susan, do you want to pinch him, or you want me to kick him, step on his toes? And then his dog will bite us. Neither one of us got it. All right, go to the next one, William.
Mickey would never bite anybody. She would lick you to death. Okay. So, according to Newsweek, what was the number one song cover played? Was it Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers? Was it Yesterday by the Beatles? Or Silent Night by John Freeman Young?
What year? Or what was the question?
Say 1 year. It's just the most popular song according to Newsweek of these three
popular
songs.
song. And
Ain't No Sunshine, Yesterday, or Silent Night.
What do you think, Susan? I'm going to go with Yesterday with the Beatles. Yesterday, both of us agree. Yesterday with the Beatles.
So it was Silent Night. Yesterday with the Beatles was number 7, and Silent Night came up number 4 on the charts.
Wow. Well, we lost out on that. What happened to Connie Francis with, what was it that she sang? rocking around the Christmas tree. All right. What's the next one, boy? Susan, we're not doing good tonight, but you're still beating me. Maybe we should.
Which of these
Hey,
three?
Susan, you're ahead of me. You got more points than I do, but I'm trying. Uh, I've got the paddle and I'm throwing rocks, but I got the paddle going. All right, William, go with the next one.
Which of these three concerts was the largest? Monsters of Rock in Moscow 1991, or Woodstock in 1969 in Bethel, New York, or the Rolling Stones A Bigger, Better Bang tour in Copacabana, Rio de Janeiro? So you've got Monsters of Rock, Woodstock, or the Stones tour in Rio de Janeiro.
Susan, what do you think? I'm going to go with Rolling Stones and Rio. Now, Susan will wait to see what she says. We are, you're ahead. She said Rolling Stones with me. Because I just think they're hot to trot. So back then too. So the answer is
very close. It was very close. The Rolling Stones tour was 1.5 million, and the Monsters of Rock was 1.6 million, and Woodstock was just 400,000. So it was Monsters of Rock in Moscow.
Wow. Well, Susan, we didn't get that one. All right, on to the next one.
What is the largest passenger ship by gross tonnage? The RMS Queen Mary 2, the Wonder of the Seas, or the MS Freedom of the Seas? Now, the Wonder of the Seas and Freedom of the Seas are these ships that you go out on, like when you go out to the Disney tour and stuff like that on a cruise. So these two are cruise ships, and the RMS Queen Mary was they crossed the Atlantic. But which of the three is it? The Freedom, Wonder of the Seas, or Queen Mary?
Susan, what do you think? MS Freedom of the Sea, and I say the Queen Mary. So what's the answer?
So it was Wonder of the Seas with 136,000 gross tons. Queen Mary was 148,000 gross tons, and the MS Freedom of the Seas was 154,000 gross tons. So Wonder of the Seas.
We didn't get that one, Susan.
It's currently, I believe, the longest right now, 1,187 feet long. And it's a wonderful cruise ship that you can book a ticket on right now.
You know, they're saying the military and even and not just military, naval, or even the Department of Justice, as they're saying that anything made, you know, that they're gonna take the SR down, and a lot of the naval ships that were actually built before 60s, they're going to go ahead and mothball. And they're going to bring the new ones in. But so neither one of us got that one.
Mothball them, you can bring them back into service quickly. That's why they're mothballed. You know, they don't actually, when they're mothballs, they're kept heated, they're kept air conditioned, all the maintenance kept up on them. They're just not crewed or going out to sea. And so all the mothballing techniques can be removed from them very quickly in the event they need to use them with a new crew. So if we lose a ship, they can take those back into service quickly. So mothballing is a good thing if you're bringing in new ships.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next one.
Number 10. What is the largest passenger airplane? All right. Is it the Lockheed L-1011, the Boeing 747-800, or the Airbus A380-900?
I'm thinking, oh boy. Susan, what do you think?
Now, the A380 is new. The Lockheed L-1011 is the oldest, and the Boeing 747-800 is in between them as far as age.
I'm gonna go with Lockheed. Susan, what do you think? And let's see.
Now, these aren't like cargo aircraft. These are this is a passenger airplane, like
Yeah.
you go to at the air terminal to take a trip.
Okay, while we're waiting on Susan, did you see where
So
General
you got
Lloyd?
Lockheed, Boeing, or Airbus.
Right. Now, General Lloyd and Blinken and quite a few of our ambassadors been trying to meet with China, and they've rejected all of them. Did you hear about?
They won't talk to General Lloyd Austin, the head of the United States Department of Defense. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and they even Blinken and some of our ambassadors for meetings that they've been trying to set up. But what I'm finding out is, let me see if I can get this.
If you want to talk to China, turn off the commerce. Just turn off ordering things from China. They'll talk to you real quick. They live on a dollar.
Yeah. Well,
we are the largest market in the world, the United States.
So, Susan says Airbus, and I said Lockheed. So, what's the answer
Susan
to this
is
one?
Right.
Huh?
Susan's correct.
Ah, there you go, Susan. Way to go.
The L-1011 was a single decker with 3 engines. Mm-hmm. The Boeing 747 has 1.5 or 1 and I guess a third decks. And Airbus is a double decker, so it had the largest amount of seats.
Yeah, and okay, so Susan gets the point. What's the next one?
What on the television series from BBC? What was the first year Doctor Who television series was broadcast? Was it 1992, 1963, or 1954? 92, 63, or 54? Doctor Who, if you're a Whovian.
I think it was, I'm going to say 19, because I like Doctor Who, 1963 on PBS. Because that's where pretty much it started, was PBS. That's where I watched it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it was originally created in British Broadcasting Corporation, mm-hmm. But yeah, it went right to PBS quickly.
So, Susan, what do you think? She said 1992. Is that a question, or one of the answers?
Yeah, 92, okay. 63, or 54.
All right. So, which one was it?
63. 1963.
I'm almost caught up to you, Susan. I might have to do a peek on his Williams paper to see if I can get ahead. But you're still ahead of me, and but I got that one. All right, next one.
Okay, there was on National Public Radio, PBS. There was a show, radio show called The Prairie Home Companion, mm-hmm. And it was narrated by Garrison Keillor. Where was the fictional place of Lake Wobegon in this series? Lake Wobegon in A Prairie Home Companion.
Mm.
It's a fictional place, and it could be either in Massachusetts, Minnesota, or Maine.
All right, Susan, what do you think? I'm going to go with the lake. I think it was Lake what, William?
Lake Wobegon is in Massachusetts, Minnesota, or Maine. Now it's a fictional place, but it's located there according to the radio show.
Right. So, Susan, let's see. Me and Susan playing tonight. I think everybody's still out for over the weekend, and enjoying it. But if you watch this later, put your comments down in the below, and I will keep an eye on it, and maybe you'll win me and Susan on the answers. Like I said,
Susan's correct.
Minnesota.
It is Minnesota.
Ah, oh boy, I might have Susan. I'm gonna cover your eyes for this next one, so you can't see what he has. Go ahead, William.
So Susan knows where Lake Wobegon is and all the stories of woe. Okay, where is the happiest place on earth from 1990 on? Okay, from 1990 till now, where is the happiest place on earth? Disneyland, California, the country of Denmark, or Disney World, Orlando, Florida?
I'm gonna say Disneyland, not Disney World. Disney World is Florida, so I'm gonna go for California.
So we got Orlando, California, or Denmark.
So is it Denmark or Disney World, Susan? So I'm going with, why I say that, William, is, I haven't been to Florida one, but I have living in California. We did go to Disneyland quite a few times, and it's a small world. It's just beautiful. You can't change anything, and I don't think Disney World has it. That's why I picked it. Disneyland in California. She picked the same thing with me.
Well, I like the boat trip through. It's a small world, but turns out it's Disney World in Orlando, Florida.
Well, you know what? We need to poke a few people and maybe even throw some popcorn, because
I think it's Orlando, Florida, because it's just bigger. There's just more of it. More people go there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, you know what? They haven't been to California. It's a small world, because I seen it, and I've been through all the attractions, and like I said, I've been to Orlando, but it's a small world.
All the dolls from around the world are beautiful, aren't
they? Susan, have you been to that Disneyland in Florida or California? Because I've been there twice, and once I was in junior high around there, and the other was in high school, and both times, I mean, it was like a chill that came over me that said there's something important about this. So, all right, William, on with the next. We're just about done.
What bus service does Ellie most dislike at the current time? Trailways or Greyhound?
No. It was probably Greyhound, but you know me, I'm mad at them. I was still angry, William. I could do real good over the whole thing, but
well, you can't tell everybody alone. Yeah, it's Greyhound. Okay.
All right, Susan said Greyhound, so both of us.
Yeah.
So both of us got that right. All right, next one. How many we have left?
Oh, we can do.
I'm gonna do 15.
4 more. We can do 4 more.
All right, we'll do 4 more.
What is William most like? A bad disease, a skunk, or all the things he's lost? It's his mind he misses the most.
Huh. Repeat the question.
What is William most like? A person with all the things he's lost, it's his mind he misses the most, a skunk, or a bad disease?
The first one, I'm going to say. First one. What do you think?
Bad disease,
it's not
skunk,
Greyhound.
Lost his mind.
Yeah, not Greyhound. Greyhound will make people, William, I looked into it, and there's so many lawsuits against Greyhound over the same thing that happened to me, but now there are lawsuits, even a government lawsuit, over migrants. So it's something me and you are going to have to look into before we do a really good show on Greyhound. She said, bad disease. I don't know which one that is.
Okay, the answer is yes. I'm like a bad disease. I keep coming back a skunk because win, lose, or draw, you come up stinking. And of all the things I've lost, it is my mind I miss the most.
So I chose the first one, and Susan
All the
chose
above.
bad disease.
You're right.
Okay. All right, next one.
That's number 15, but we can continue on.
Well, I say we close it at this. We're sitting at an hour and a half. We have some really good news tonight. Now, I ask everyone to share a show, hit the thumbs up. I have a heart up there. Thank you very much for the heart. We did have a new viewer tonight, or that stopped in, maybe not a new viewer, but someone that said hello. And it was Sweet Campbell Judy. So get in there, subscribe. And if you're on Facebook, hit the follow and the like. And William, we had a good time tonight. Really good news.
Yeah, come and have a blast with us, because you'd be surprised what we dig up.
Oh, yeah. I love my trivia on Fridays, and we will be back on Monday with our Justice Show. And I'll be doing the news, and then William will be doing the show on Tuesday for me. And then me and William will be back on Wednesday. We have a lot to offer on the show. And William, I'm glad you were here tonight, because just the news alone, your insight really does help explain a lot.
You know, we're a community. We're a community here with people from all over the world, and reporters from all over the world that listen in. And we try to give out the most accurate information we can find at the time. And we pretty much use open source, except for where Ellie has reporters that are on the scene. But we're almost
lots of
always
reporters
correct
worldwide.
And it's good to listen to if you want to understand what's happening in the world around you.
That's right. So share, subscribe, hit that like button, hit the thumbs up, the hearts, and share with friends, family, and even if you're in line at the grocery store, turn around and say, have you heard about Investigator News Network? Now, we are suspended from Investigator News 2, and we're having to move to network due to our strike. And it looks like it'll be the middle of July. Wow, they hit me hard this time. William, you must be really upset now.
We get hit again, it might be Investigator News 3.
Could be. All right, William, I thank you much for the trivia tonight, and we will see everyone on Monday. So I'll be in William's spot on Monday. I'll be back with Justice for All, and then William will be here on Tuesday for his show. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your support.
Thanks for the opportunity, Ellie, and remember to fill the churches.
That's right. All right. So see you on Monday. Okay. William, that is it. And we'll talk over the weekend. I will. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.